Okay, so welcome back to the next episode of creating a low poly style game. So we left off with this character last time, and this episode is going to be split into two parts. We're going to be importing some animations, and then we're going to be creating and putting the animations on the character. And it's only going to be a walking animation so far, but we will add some more in the future, just so it doesn't look so like this. So what I'm actually going to do first is we're going to go onto the blueprint, and how you do this is go to edit blueprint, as I said last video. You go to the viewport, and I'm going to right click on the camera. I'm going to drag it up a bit, just because the character is pretty large. I'm also going to move it back too. Always got to make sure it's perfect, please. There we go. That'll do. There we go. That's good, that's good. Don't want to see the feet. Right, so we've done that. Now, what we want to do is we want to add some animation to the character, right? But before we do that, we have to import the animations. So we need to make a new folder and call it animations. Click on this. It's called new folder and type character. Now let's import our animations. I will leave a link to some animations in the description. So we've imported our animations. We've got a death animation, idle, and a walk. We've got two idles actually. But delete this one. Don't need that. Okay. So if we click on this, you might see that it's very, very small, depending on how you exported them. So all we're going to go do is type import in this search bar, and find the scale thingy, this scale, and we're going to put this up to 10 and click re-import, and there he is, boys. Look at him go. There's our little walk. What a beast. Alright, so we do this with all the other ones. So I'll do them real quick. Okay. So we've re-imported the animation. So now, if we click on our third person character and go into the blueprint, if we go to our viewport and we go to this details panel, click on the character, and we go to the animation node box. We have use animation blueprint, animation asset, or custom mode. Let's use asset. And we can choose our animation. Oh, here we go. Don't know why I wasn't doing that. Okay. So we've got three animations down here. We've got death, idle, and walk. Let's use walk. As you can see, it's very small, which is fine, because we're just going to press R and scale it up. Like so. Boom. Gotta get this perfect. There we go. So now we go into here. Our character is running. Like so. But how does it's just gonna keep running. So how do we stop this? So we need to create something called a animation blueprint. So we've got the character blueprint, but we need the animation. So we go to this button, we've got all these different things here. We want to blend space. This lets you transition between animations, which we've just imported. So choose the mesh skeleton and rename this to AnimBS. Now I found this confusing at the start, but you go into here, and here's our character. You can move around, normal controls. We have this main box here which we're going to need. These are our animations, and you don't need any of this. Actually, before we do that, we do need this. We're going to go to this axis settings, and go to horizontal axis, which is this bottom line here. And for our axes, we want to be putting it as our direction. So we've got our direction at the bottom, and our vertical axes, we want our speed. Okay, easy, easy. So for our direction, we want minus 180 to 180, because that's triangle, circle, not triangle. And from here we want 0 to 600, because we're speeding up. Okay, so this is our axis. This is what we want. So, and then for our idle, we will put at 0, because that's our speed at 0. And we want our walk to be at 600. So if we zoom in now, come to here, if we slowly move this green thing up, it slowly gets faster, as you can see, which is cool. Okay, so let's save that. So now we want to make our animation blueprint, where we can make our character actually respond to this with our keys WASD. So let's go into our animation thing and go to animation blueprint. Now we want to select mesh skeleton again, click OK, and call this anim BP for anim BP. Okay, so now we've got this open, we want a state to machine, so we'll just type in here state machine, add a new state machine. Okay, so this is where we put our animations, and this is how we're going to do it. So down here in the variables tab, the variables, we're going to add 2 variables. One of them is going to be our speed, which we put in our first box. One of them is going to be our direction, which we put in our second box. This one's going to be a float. This one's also going to be a float. So we've got 2 floats, speed and direction. For our entry, we want to add a state, and that state is going to be our idle animation. Just do that right there. We're going to drag this out and create another state, and it's going to be our walk animation. So this will be our transition to our idle to walk. That's where it's going to happen. So to make this work, we actually need to go into our event graph. Okay, so in this blueprint, we want to start with our event update animation, which ticks and keeps ticking, you know. That's why it's an update. So out of here, we want to get our character. So how do we do that? Well, I literally just said it. We want to cast to our character, basically. And you'll learn this as you go along. I found it quite difficult to get. I don't know why. But we're going to try to get pawn owner. And we're doing this because we don't need to cast to our third person character yet. So as our character, we can get our speed. There we go. Got the velocity and the rotation. There we go. Okay, so now we need to calculate. Okay, so we need to calculate the direction of the character. So to do this, we're just going to do that, calculate the direction, and we're going to also, from this velocity, we're going to come out and we're going to square it. A bit of physics, lol. And then we can set that as our speed. And our direction is going to be our return value for our direction. And that's pretty much it, I think. Don't think we need anything else in here. So, to recap, we went for our update animation right through to our character to get our character. Then we got the velocity and the rotation of the character to get the direction, which you need here. Then to get the speed is v squared, v square, square that. That's that return value. The return value for the direction goes to the direction. That's our two variables getting set up right there. So if we compile that, we've got an exclamation mark that doesn't matter at the moment. Okay, so we can go now here, and we can go to this final output animation pose, and we can select our this speed and direction thing, and we're going to get speed and we're going to get direction. Let's swap these around to make it easier. We put that in there and put that in there and click compile. So now we've done that. So that's done. So now we can go here and say get speed. Okay, so our float, so we want to do so now we're in this idle state. So we're going to come out here and we're going to get our float for our speed and direction. For this here, can end transition float. If speed is greater than 0, let's do 10. So let's get the speed. Get speed. Boom. Compile. That's done. Don't need to touch that anymore. And then here we're going to get our float again. Speed is less than. Get speed. If it's less than 10, then it should work. Let's try this out. Oh, do you know what we haven't done, guys? We need to go to our blueprints, which is in our third person blueprints, and we need to set this to our animation blueprint. So click none and then BP. So that is huge. I know why, guys. We have no output animation pose. Should be our idle. Okay, there we go, there we go. Let's try that. Let's try that, boys. Look at that, boys. We have created the start of our animation, and you see how it keeps cutting out. We can change this by just save it first, boys. Gotta save it all. We can go into our blend space, so the BS thing, and we go to these horizontal axes and the vertical axes. I'd do the vertical and set this to 1, this interpolation time. And what this does, it is makes a kind of smoothness into it. Look at that. Boom. And now we have our character. We have a character, which is good. We now have a character. So if you enjoyed this quick tutorial, make sure to subscribe to Frost Studios, and we have our basic character. Next episode we're going to add some final animations. We have a jump we can add, and we'll start by making some more models for the start of our scene, which is going to be fun.